Basically shattered my world.
The Brown family didn't fall apart by accident. It was engineered.
Okay, I need the peppers cut a certain way.
Christine Brown's swan song in the Brown family saga isn't just a breakup. It's a case study in how decades of unpaid labor, emotional neglect, and televised humiliation can finally crack even the most resilient woman.
Just rotate on a schedule. But I go through a rotation so that I can stay with each one of my wives.
For years, Christine was the domestic backbone of the original households, feeding, teaching, cleaning, and homeschooling a small army of children, nearly 13 in total, while Cody floated between homes like a man doing a victory lap for simply existing.
Oh, my voice will be heard.
What made Christine different was her candor. She was the one wife who consistently told the truth, both to the audience and, most damningly, to Cody himself. Predictably, that honesty was met not with appreciation, but with resentment. Cody, who thrives on sycophancy, couldn't stomach a wife who refused to choke down the party line.
And he goes, no. And I'm like, that's not enough for me.
She was, in his eyes, the least liked and least valued, a position he reinforced with every snub, every absence, and ultimately with that breathtaking act of gaslighting when he told her he was no longer attracted to her.
You're not interested in an intimate marriage with me.
He seemed genuinely shocked that she didn't nod politely and wait for scraps of affection. In his mind, his presence was so valuable that she would simply endure permanent demotion to household servant status. But Christine's exit made history. She was the first to walk, the first to puncture the myth that Cody could emotionally abandon his wives and children.
I'm not really. He doesn't seem married anymore.
Save for Robyn and her offspring, without consequence. Ironically, Christine may have loved him more fiercely than any of the others, which makes his neglect all the more pathetic.
I'm heartbroken.
By then, Cody had long been distracted by Robyn's orbit, failing to notice that his other marriages were rotting from neglect.
No, I don't think he's talked to you.
Christine didn't just leave, she took with her a quiet dignity, the loyalty of most of the children,
Basically shattered my world, and
the satisfaction of knowing she shattered his illusion of control. The goodbye that should never have happened. Christine's goodbye scene was billed as some heartfelt closure. In reality, it was a masterclass in bad judgment, emotional ambush, and the weaponization of children's mouths.
Yeah, as far as your mom and everything.
The gathering, pushed aggressively by Mickelty despite Christine's clear disinterest, was awkward before it even began.
Going on right now with Christine leaving and then
Mickelty, in some misguided quest for a picture-perfect farewell, bulldozed her mother into participating. It was an unkind move that stripped Christine of her right to a clean, dignified exit, instead forcing her to stand in a firing line of discomfort.
Ariella was melting down. She grabs my leg and won't let me leave.
Then came Ariella, Robyn and Cody's young daughter, whose now infamous moment was equal parts unsettling and telling. When she asked Christine why she and her father split, the innocent question was quickly undercut by the narrowed eyes, the sharp tone, and the chillingly scripted outburst. Have dates. The phrase, straight from Robyn's talking points, wasn't just inappropriate. It was damning. A child parroting adult blame narratives is never spontaneous. It's learned.
hey, yeah, as far as your mom and everything.
I mean,
Of course, Robyn had publicly claimed she hadn't told the younger children anything about the separation, a claim as believable as Cody's COVID rules being about health.
I told all my kids, even Saul and Art.
The reality was on full display, children repeating phrases that could only have been fed to them at home. The stony glares from Aurora and Brianna during broader family discussions only cemented the point. This lack of boundaries is a recurring theme with Cody and Robyn's parenting. There's a staggering inability or unwillingness to protect children from adult conflict. Instead, they let them marinate in resentment and grievance, producing miniature mouthpieces who deliver the message for them. And when Ariella's tone and behavior crossed the line from curious to disrespectful, neither parent corrected her. They stood there, silent, allowing the disrespect to land like a carefully timed slap.
Truly's missed everyone so much. She's missed Saul and Ari so much.
The collateral damage was clearest in Truly, Christine's youngest, who once shared an innocent closeness with Solomon and Ariella. That bond was casually severed. At the so-called farewell, Cody didn't even offer her a hug, a small gesture that could have softened the blow. Instead, she was left to absorb the adult mess in full, the hurt etched visibly on her face. It was a cruel reminder that in this family, the children's well-being often takes a backseat to the parents' pride, grudges, and performative narratives.
No talk, moment of
The shame workout, TLC's low point in motivational messaging. Few reality TV moments manage to be both petty and harmful, but the infamous trainer scenes with Janelle check both boxes.
I was discouraged at the 30-day checkup.
It began with a man whose professional toolkit apparently consisted of shaming clients into submission. In one spectacular display of misplaced confidence, he interrupted Mary to declare their collective progress not good enough, as if decades of family dysfunction could be fixed with burpees and calorie deficits.
What our measurements were. I was mortified because I have never told anybody.
The women's faces told the story. Defeat, humiliation, and the familiar sting of being measured against someone else's moving goalposts. This was not training. It was an on-camera power play, made worse by TLC's gleeful decision to air it without an ounce of critical framing.
So with a combined weight of 271 and your body mass of 44.
The implication was clear. Women in this family aren't just expected to navigate a collapsing plural marriage, they must also shrink themselves into a more palatable shape for public consumption.
And I believe it's an addiction.
Contrast this with Janelle's later work with another trainer, Sean, whose approach focused on strength, confidence, and setting tangible, empowering goals. There were hikes, smashed scales, and visible improvements in energy and mood. It was about feeling better, not fitting a number. That approach worked because it didn't hinge on dismantling what little self-esteem she had left.
Better is better, but it's not great.
No, it's not good. It's very bad.
The hostility in that first trainer's expression said it all. This wasn't about wellness, it was about domination. And for a family already steeped in hierarchy, favoritism, and the constant grading of wives against one another, it fit neatly into the show's most damaging narrative. COVID, the perfect excuse for neglect.
It's just dad's like, I can't see anyone, sorry, bye.
If the Brown family was a slow-motion car crash before COVID, the pandemic years were the moment the wreckage caught fire. Under the guise of keeping everyone safe, Cody constructed an elaborate system of rules so rigid and arbitrary that even the CDC might have blushed.
I mean,
Where is he staying then?
he's between Christine and Robyn's house.
In practice, these rules served less as health precautions and more as an escape hatch from wives and children he'd already emotionally abandoned. His treatment of Janelle's sons, Hunter, Garrison, and Gabe, was especially telling. Instead of balancing risk with empathy, Cody wielded COVID protocols like a sword, cutting off contact and punishing them for maintaining relationships and jobs outside his micromanaged bubble.
I mean, Gabriel, the real issue here is you had to choose between me coming over or seeing your girl.
Gabe, with a clarity beyond his years, saw straight through the charade. If the only way to see his father was to contract COVID, and Cody still wouldn't see him afterward, then the rules were never about the virus at all. The cruelty didn't stop there. Cody openly mocked Gabe's relationship with his girlfriend in the crudest possible terms, reducing it to a lewd punchline about getting his pencil wet. This from a man who has spent his public life insisting his plural marriages are about more than sex. The hypocrisy was staggering, the disrespect to his own son immeasurable.
Even Garrison's being safe at all. He now has bought a trailer.
I mean, like literally, he's a grown-ass man.
Then there was the eviction push for Garrison, an employed veteran saving for a down payment, whom Cody dismissed as an adult who needed to move out immediately. This, while comfortably housing Robyn's adult children, Dayton and Aurora, neither of whom faced the same financial self-sufficiency requirements. It wasn't just favoritism, it was an outright declaration that the rules only apply to children of wives he no longer values.
Cody is going to stay away for a couple of weeks.
Hunter, the most quietly formidable of the sons, seemed to unnerve Cody most. Articulate, empathetic, And immune to his father's manipulations, Hunter maintained ties with all his siblings without bending to Cody's self-serving restrictions.
Logan's just being the big brother.
He and Logan emerged as the family's unofficial anchors, a role Cody could have filled if he'd been more interested in fatherhood than in controlling optics. COVID didn't break the Brown family. It exposed it. Friends with Benefits, the bedroom politics of Flagstaff.
Like, we've been friends with benefits for years, and I think I was ready. I'm ready now for...
Among the more eyebrow-raising revelations in the Flagstaff years was Janelle's casual admission that, long after the romantic core of her marriage had dissolved, she and Cody maintained a friends with benefits arrangement. It was a rare, unvarnished detail, quickly glossed over on the show, but lingering enough to stir speculation.
What did she say? Benefits? Friends with benefits? Something? That's not a marriage.
The public reaction revealed more about viewers than about the couple. Some found it unfathomable that Cody could reject Christine, slimmer, at least by conventional beauty standards, yet still seek intimacy with Janelle, who is larger. The outrage wasn't just confusion. It was thinly veiled fat phobia. The idea that a man might prefer a plus-size partner in the bedroom upended the tidy narrative that thin equals desirable and fat equals asexual. Christine, for her part, seemed almost incredulous at the disclosure.
He would come over like at 5 at night, have dinner with us.
Friends with benefits? That's not a marriage, she remarked, the subtext practically glowing neon. She herself had been starved for the very benefits Janelle had been quietly enjoying. It was a revealing moment. Christine's tone carried equal parts disbelief and perhaps a trace of envy. Whether Janelle's claim was entirely truthful or partially strategic, the revelation cracked the facade.
No, and I never will again. I will be her friend.
It showed that Cody's selective intimacy wasn't dictated by one neat standard of attraction, but by a complex, often petty calculus of preference, power, and convenience. Robyn and Cody, the con artists out of tricks.
Or, I'm not coming around. I'm the head of the household some places.
By the later seasons, Cody and Robyn's relationship had moved past the giddy phase of favoritism into something far duller and far more transparent. Robyn, who once claimed she longed for sister wives,
Relationship with Cody? You can't trust her.
turned out to want them less for companionship and more as competitive props. They were her backdrop, her measuring stick, and without their jealousy to feed on, her role lost its sparkle.
But he's at Robyn's house.
With the other wives gone or emotionally checked out, Robyn was left with only Cody, an audience of one. And Cody, having built his entire identity on managing multiple women, now found himself monogamous in practice, but without the grace or stability of a genuine partnership. The mutual narcissism that once fueled their alliance began to curdle.
And Robyn's house is going to be so significant.
Still, they maintain the performance, lavish purchases, like the purple castle Robyn shares with her mother, its walls adorned with art and trinkets that serve as quiet trophies of what they extracted from the others. In truth, both played the long con well, but without the public stage, Robyn's strategic value evaporates. And if the money stops flowing, there's little reason to believe she won't move on.
Cody and I have been struggling for a while.
Cody risks ending up like his own father, angry, isolated, and haunted by the realization that those who once adored him are gone. Robyn will likely survive any fallout, cat-like in her ability to land on her feet and guard what's hers. Cody, less so.
Robyn's the wife that I can communicate with and say, hey, I don't think you should.
Without the inflated ego boost of managing a plural household, he's left as Robyn's most devoted customer. A man who traded the loyalty of an entire family for the illusion of being her knight in shining armor. Janelle and Mary, the polite hostility that never quit.
Cody doesn't feel like he can be away from the little kids at Robyn's house more than 2 or 3 days at a time.
While the implosion of the Brown family often centers on Cody's blatant favoritism and Robyn's ascendance, one of the quieter but equally corrosive dynamics has been the enduring tension between Janelle and Mary. From the earliest days, their relationship was less sister-wife solidarity and more a strained truce.
Janelle and Mary were friends. And so, but I don't know.
Before marrying Cody, Janelle and Mary shared something resembling friendship. But the shift from sister-in-law to co-wife was rocky from the outset. Cody's courtship of Janelle wasn't exactly transparent to Mary, and by the time vows were exchanged, the foundation of trust had already cracked. Living arrangements only worsened matters. Differences in housekeeping became symbolic battlegrounds. Mary's home was always spotless and orderly. Janelle's was perpetually cluttered.
When Mariah was 12, I had had a miscarriage.
Add to that the personal insecurities. Mary's painful fertility struggles contrasted with Janelle's ability to bear children quickly, and the conditions for long-term tension were set.
I thought she was a princess. I did. And she thought I was bossy.
Janelle positioned herself as the unbothered, best friend wife, labeling Christine as princess and Mary as toxic and dramatic, while keeping herself above the fray. But her supposed neutrality often came at Mary's expense, with even compliments laced with critique. The fallout was inevitable. Before the move to Lehigh, a blow-up led to Janelle moving out entirely, living separately from the rest for nearly 2 years. This decades-long frostiness was never fully thawed. It persisted through moves, new marriages, and shared public appearances. In the end, their strained coexistence was less about one decisive betrayal and more about years of small, sharp cuts, misunderstandings never resolved, differences never bridged, and a constant low-level competition for influence with Cody.
Mary and I haven't seen each other a lot.
The Brown family may have marketed itself as a love should be multiplied fairy tale, but the reality was a hierarchy of affection, an ever-shifting balance of power, and a slow erosion of trust. The collapse wasn't sudden. It was the inevitable result of years spent pretending cracks were character, until the whole structure finally gave way. Subscribe and come back for more.